the Jane Smith Show. Tonight, our special guest is Elizabeth Bishop, a famous poet and author of The North and South and Geography 3. Everyone, please welcome Elizabeth Bishop.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. So I understand you are quite the poet and widely talked about.
Well, I would say so. I've written about 8 popular poetry books and won many awards for them.
Can you tell me a little bit about your works and awards?
Well, my first book that I published was in 1946, and it was called North and South, which included my poem The Fish, and I won the Houghton Mifflin Prize for it. A few years later, I published a book including 18 new poems called North and South, A Cold Spring, and in 1956, I won the Pulitzer Prize for it. Not too long after, I wrote a book called The Complete Poems, which won me a National Book Award. Probably my most popular book was called Geography 3, as seen right here. And that book helped me become the first woman to win the Neustadt International Prize for Literature.
Wow, that is very interesting. We will be back right after these few messages. Welcome back. Here with me is my good friend Elizabeth Bishop. Now earlier you mentioned something about a poem you called The Fish. Can you give us some more description on that?
Yes, I sure can. The poem is about a fish that I or someone else has caught, and it's described in very descriptive detail. I was going for the tone that people carelessly overlook what they actually see.
That's very interesting. Now can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
Well, I grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts, and when I was young, my father passed away. And not too long after that, in 1916, my mother was institutionalized in a mental asylum.
That's terrible.
So I soon became an orphan. I went to live with my grandparents for a period of time in Nova Scotia and was never reunited with my mother because she later died in 1934.
I am so sorry to hear that. After all of that, did you continue to go to school?
Well, as a child, I was ill all the time, and because of that, I could not attend school as often as I had hoped. But after being separated from my grandparents, I went to live with my father's side of the family, which I did not like. Later on, I went to study music at Walnut Hill School, but soon gave it up because of my fear of performing.
Well, we're about to have to wrap it up, but I still have a couple more questions.
Certainly.
I understand that you traveled to South America. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, when I traveled there, I had only planned on staying for a couple of days, but ended up staying in Santos, Brazil for 15 years. During my time in Brazil, I became interested in the literature of Latin America, and I lived with a man named Loda de Marcito Soares. But after he died, I moved back to America, and I wrote about my travel to Brazil in the book Questions of Travel.
Yeah, I've read some about that. It's marvelous.
Thank you so very much.
Now that you're older, what have you been doing to earn money?
Well, I've lived off my father's inheritance for a really long time, and now that it's starting to run out, I've taught at several schools, including Harvard University, the University of Washington, and New York University.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes, I enjoyed it very much.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Everyone, can we give a round of applause for Elizabeth Bishop?
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.